So in this class, most of the time when we're working with data, we're going to be using R to do that. But I think that having some basic spreadsheet skills are also really valuable for the workforce, and it's the way that a lot of data journalists at least get started working with data. So I'm not a spreadsheet expert, but I know how to do a couple things, and so I was just going to show you how I work with data in spreadsheets. So this is data from the General Social Survey, which is a large nationally representative survey in the US. They call people and they ask them a bunch of questions. So every row in this data set is a respondent, and it has the age of the respondent and the highest year of school they completed, highest year of school their father completed, their mother, their spouse, things like their college major, and then the answers to a bunch of questions. So if I want to work with data in Excel, the first thing that I want to do is make sure that my variable names aren't going to get mixed in with my data once I start working with it. So I'm going to go to View, Freeze Panes, and then Freeze Top Row, and then that'll keep my variable names kind of separate up in this header. And then the first thing that you might want to do is be able to sort your data in some particular way. And this is one of the things that I always get wrong. So I'm going to show you the wrong way first, and then I'm going to try and do it the right way. So let's say that I'm interested in knowing about the highest year of school completed, and I want to know, what was the highest year of school completed in this data set. The wrong way to do it is to highlight just the column, go to Sort and Filter, and then say Sort Descending. So that has sort of given me the answer. There's 3 NAs, and then some of these people did 20 years of school. But it actually didn't change the rest of the data set. So all the other columns stayed exactly the same, and this actually broke the relationship between the variables. So before, this person, well, let's find someone here. This person completed high school, but now it's saying that they did 20 years of school. Well, that's clearly wrong. So I'm going to Control Z and undo that and put it back. You can see that person looks like actually did 12 years of school, and that makes sense. So you don't want to just be doing something to one column of your data, because you could end up breaking the relationship. It's really important to preserve the relationship across a row. So if you want to sort your data set like that, I think the best way to do it is to Control A so that you have the whole data set selected, and then you could do Sort and Filter and click on Filter. And now this is going to add a little sorting button for each of your variables, and then you could sort descending, for example, and now the rows of the data set actually hang together. So now this person has done 20 years of schooling. Well, they also only did a high school diploma. That's kind of interesting. Oh, I see. It's whether they got a GED or a high school diploma. But they went to med school, presumably, and that's why they have 20 years of school. But I can see, like the respondent number down here, that has changed. So that's a good indication that I actually did the sorting correctly. So sometimes the story in a data set is just what's the maximum or what's the minimum. So some people have 0 years of schooling or just 1 year of schooling, and they have 8 or more children. I think there's some interesting stories already in this data set just by sorting it. But the thing that a lot of businesses ask about when they are interested in spreadsheet skills is whether you can do pivot tables. And pivot tables are sort of held up as this advanced behavior, but they're actually not that complicated. So we're going to go to the Insert tab, and then we're going to insert a pivot table. And the pivot table says that you should choose the data that you want to analyze. I just am interested in the relationship between, let's see, maybe college major and age. So I'm going to just select the columns that I'm interested in. So from age to college. See if I can shift click to get them all selected. So now it's going to say, you know, I'm getting this whole range from column C to column H, and then I'm going to put this pivot table on a new worksheet and say OK. And so now nothing has really happened yet, but now I get to choose some fields. So all the fields that I had selected are possibilities. And I said I was interested in the relationship between age of respondent and college major. And so what it initially does is maybe not that useful. So you want to get something that's more like a categorical variable in as your rows, and you want the thing that's more like a numeric variable in as your values. So I'm going to drag age of respondent over to values. And this is still not very useful. This is just telling me how many people I think were in each of these categories, like 29 people were in accounting/bookkeeping, but I don't have to just do account. So I can click the little drop down here, and then value field settings, and then I could pick something like the average. So I'm going to find the average age for each of these college majors and say OK. And so now I can see that the average age of respondent for accounting and bookkeeping as a major, 51.44, dance as a major is a little bit younger, etc. So that's a pivot table, is just a way to summarize your data so that you have information about a relationship between two variables. So there's lots more that you can do with pivot tables. Sometimes people want to do a pivot table of two categorical variables and see what the number of the intersections between those variables are. You can do things other than averages, obviously. You could, do the min, the max, the product, the standard deviation, all kinds of things like that. But this is one of the more powerful things in spreadsheets, and again, it's something that you might get asked in a job interview. Can you do pivot tables? And so yes, I believe that you can in spreadsheets, and then I'm going to show you how to do the same thing in R.